First, Parsons. From the Talk Radio WRNR studios, it's time for Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob Mario and David Welch.
Thank you, Cliff, and welcome into the program. Rob is out today. Matt Miller is in his place. We wish Rob, of course, a very happy family vacation, his annual leave away from the show, and a chance for him to get to recharge the batteries and spend some good time with his family. Our sponsors today, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies. When it comes to your home, auto, farm, or business, we're trusted, reliable, and experienced. And also Miller Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Route 9. East of Martinsburg, home of the Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. You can listen to the program, of course, on 740 AM, 106.5 FM, cable channel 10, where you can actually watch us and see us. We're streaming on Talk Radio WRNR, or you can download our app on WRNR Talk Radio. Savon Hunter is in, our intern. Savon, welcome.
Good morning.
And you're making a very special debut today, aren't you?
Yes, finally.
Finally. At 8:30, we're going to bring Savon Hunter in as a co-host for that segment. We'll tell you more about that later, but there's a very special reason for that. And, of course, Sherry Dieter Davis is our producer. And, Matt, I think that gets us through the preliminaries. Good Monday morning to you.
Good morning.
How was 6 o'clock this morning on a Monday? Is that harder to show up at 6 o'clock on a Monday, or is it just like any other day?
No, I think it was just like any other day.
I spent my weekend, because I was not here on Friday. Debbie and I were traveling, and we went to one of America's great cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And our niece got married, and we went to the rehearsal dinner on Friday night, and her wedding was on Saturday, and it was a lovely time for family flying in, and got to meet a whole bunch of their friends in Minneapolis, of course. And one of the topics that came up at the wedding, of course, I initiated it because I was curious about it, and that is the term Minnesota nice. Have you ever heard of the term Minnesota nice?
Never.
Savon, how about you?
Never.
Never heard. Neither one of you have ever heard the term Minnesota nice. Well, if you go to Wikipedia, here's what they'll say, because there's actually a term called Minnesota nice. And Wikipedia describes it this way. It's the stereotypical behavior of people from Minnesota to be courteous, reserved, and mild-mannered. It's popularly known as Minnesota nice, also sometimes called Midwestern nice, but it's basically called Minnesota nice. The cultural characteristics of Minnesota nice include polite friendliness, an aversion to confrontation, a tendency towards understatement, a disinclination to make a fuss or stand out, emotional restraint, and self-deprecation. Now, you may remember Garrison Keillor, right, from the NPR radio show that he had. Do you know who Garrison Keillor is, Savon?
No.
Okay. Well, he was probably very well known as a radio commentator, wrote several books, but he wrote his most best-selling book was a book called A Prairie Home Companion, bestseller, and that was also the name of his radio show for many decades. And he discusses what he calls wobenomics. And it is the supposed language of Minnesotans, which includes no confrontational verbs or statements of strong personal preference. Now, Matt, here's why I bring this up. Because I asked real people in Minneapolis, what really is Minnesota nice? And they will all tell you that Minnesota nice basically means being passive-aggressive. It basically means to your face, they're going to say, I would say to Matt, you're the greatest. You're the greatest sports director. You're the greatest football announcer. You are really all that. And then I would go over to the other booth and tell Savon, you know what, Matt is the worst sports announcer I've ever heard in my life. That's what they say in Minnesota, what Minnesota nice is. So I just thought I'd bring you back a little lesson from the Midwest. And so if you ever heard the term Minnesota nice, you should probably run, I would imagine.
I was going to say, I don't know if I would like that niceness. I would rather the genuineness than the niceness. I would
Who
rather,
wouldn't, right?
Right, yeah. Tell me what you think as opposed to butter me up and then tell somebody else what you really think.
Of course, I would think that Minnesota nice would be a good thing to have in a spouse. They're always going to be nice to you. No matter what they say to other people, they're going to always be nice. So it got me to thinking, what would West Virginia nice be? What would West Virginia nice be? I mean, we could have our own term of West Virginia nice. Maybe it is, don't screw with me, I'm packing.
Could be.
I don't know. So there you go. Exciting time in Washington tonight and tomorrow, and I know that for baseball fans like you and me, Matt. Savannah, are you a baseball fan?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. My wife isn't either. I tried to bring baseball up with her today and the All-Star game. She looked at me and just said, David, I really am not interested in baseball. I really don't even want to talk about that. You save that for Rob or Matt on the radio. I don't really need to talk about that. So if she's listening, she's probably just turned it off. But the All-Star game of the professional All-Star games of all the sports, why does this one, Matt, stand out? Because I got to tell you, the other three don't. Hockey or basketball or football, I don't think people much care about. But for some reason, America does tune in to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think football being at the end of the season is one that, is kind of lackluster. And because of the nature of the game of football, that the game's slightly different. They're not playing it the way they do in the regular season, risking harm and injury and other things, and especially at the end of the year. And
their owners don't want them to, really.
No. And hockey is a little unique in the way that they do it now with the kind of semifinals and then break it down. So it's not really, all the All-Stars playing together, but really kind of all-stars from each of the various divisions. I do like their skills competition. Matt Crawford and I talked a little bit about that on our Miller Time commentary this morning. I'd like to see baseball maybe add a few more skills other than just the home run derby. But basketball, while it is the general middle of the season, there's not a lot of defense played. And so it's just kind of up and down the court, and I agree, doesn't get a ton of attention. I think baseball, the biggest thing is it's generally a competitive type of game. When you talk about seeing some of the best pitchers against some of the best hitters, pitching is dominated, especially the last couple of years. I think there's just something about that competitiveness that comes in an all-star game in baseball that's maybe not there in the other sports.
I think also that baseball ultimately is an individual sport. I'm not trying to take away the fact that it is a team sport, but it's 9 individuals on the field, each doing what they do. The right fielder does something different than the shortstop. They all do something so different. And I think that the standout, if you are standing out in a particular position or in an offensive category, then the all-starness of it just seems to stand out, and people appreciate the individual effort. You're talking about a skills thing. We'll talk about the home run derby in a minute because everyone loves that. In fact, I'm thinking their ratings on Monday night tonight are probably just as high as the game itself tomorrow night. But here's one. Let's think of skills they could do in baseball. This is the one I would love to see. I would love to see the climbing the fence and robbing someone of a home run category. What do you think?
I guess you could set that up where you've got like a pitching machine that lofts a ball into a certain area so that players can time the leap and everybody kind of have an even playing field.
Exactly. And so you get your best defensive outfielders out there, and we'll see which one does the best of climbing the wall and robbing a home run, falling into the bullpen, breaking their neck. I mean, the crowd would go wild, I would think.
And the owners would go, we can't do that. I can't have my guy breaking his neck trying to make a catch just to impress some fans at an all-star game.
Okay, so what would another skill thing be?
One of the ones I love and would like to see is I love when an outfielder throws somebody out on the bases. So I would like to see,
good one. Yes.
Let's see right field, center field, left field. You could give all 3 positions an opportunity and basically hit them a ground ball and see which one has the more accurate, strongest, quickest, fastest throw, however you want to do it, to throw from an outfield to whether it be right field to third third base, which is a pretty long throw, or whether it would be from the outfield to home, that's something I'd like to see.
Now, Matt Crawford is going to the game tomorrow night, correct?
Yes.
Is he going to the Home Run Derby tonight as well?
No, won't be going. He'll be in studio tonight for Miller time and then watch the Home Run Derby. He said his interest was a little more in the game itself, which, by the way, I'll tell Matt to take a rain parka with him, although he'll be in the media section, so he'll be out of the weather.
Will he be up in the media booth then underneath?
As far as I know, that's where he'll be. He'll have access to the field,
wow.
And so he'll get down there relatively early in the day and have an opportunity to be around for some various media conferences and other things that will be going on as well. Here's the deal, though. Right now, it's a 70% chance of shower and thunderstorm activity Tuesday into Tuesday night in Washington, D.C.
Oh, my.
So, again, it's...
Well, let's hope for the 30% part of that makes that not happen, I would imagine.
Right. It says, according to the National Weather Service, thunderstorms and showers likely after 1 o'clock with a 70% chance of seeing those showers and thunderstorms.
Has there ever been an All-Star game rained out?
You know, I would have to look that up, and I will do that right now, but I don't know if it's been completely rained out. I'm sure there have been some affected by weather before, but I don't know if they've had to delay it. They do have time, obviously. The season doesn't get back underway until Friday. So basically they have off for 4 days this week.
So you could replay it the next day?
So I'm assuming that there would be that possibility.
Oh, maybe they take that into account. Now, the Home Run Derby tonight. Special interest, of course, that I have for people who, for some reason, did not catch this along the way. My young friend, old family friend, Rhys Hoskins, playing for the Philadelphia Phillies in basically his first full year this year. He was brought up in August last year by the Phillies. Interestingly enough, 1 year ago this weekend, my friend Rhys Hoskins was playing in the Futures game, in the minor league All-Star game, and he's come a long way since then. But he is one of the eight players, I guess, chosen for the Home Run Derby tonight. So he did not make the All-Star team. Frankly, does not have All-Star numbers. He's competing with the other outfielders. But he did get selected for the Home Run Derby. And the betting odds now that came out, I read this today, out of Atlantic City, I guess out of Harris in Atlantic City, have him second only to Bryce Harper for winning the Home Run Derby in terms of what the betting odds are. And so, because we'll all be rooting for Bryce Harper as well. You know, he goes into the All-Star game, Bryce Harper does, with a .219 batting average. That's not an All-Star performance. So why is Bryce Harper on the All-Star team with only a .219 batting average?
Because, number one, it's a fan vote, and he is still a fan favorite in D.C., and I'm sure even in spots, outside of D.C., and so the fans cast those ballots, and he gets a chance to get in from that regard. I think the other thing is he's got 23 home runs and over 50 runs batted in, so he's on pace to still, hit 40-plus homers and drive in over 100 runs.
Those are good numbers.
So I think when you look at that aspect of it, I think that's probably what helps to get him in. Now, he's also on pace for the most home runs, the most strikeouts that he's ever had in his career. He's going to end up with well over 100 strikeouts the way that things are going right now as he's just been laboring at the plate. Now, one of the things that I read was an article over the weekend that commented that this particular writer, and in a conversation with a couple of scouts and others around the game, so not just this writer's opinion, but actually getting, some inside information, so to speak, and saying that there were those who really felt like that's been Harper's problem, is trying to hit home runs on about every swing. And therefore, he's striking out a lot more, not being patient at the plate, and his average has been dinged as a result of that.
You may have also heard, in terms of going-ons around Martinsburg, I thought it was funny today that we had Stormy Daniels in Martinsburg over the weekend. Did you hear about that? It was in the newspaper, and it was on all over my Facebook. And I don't, it doesn't seem to me, doesn't strike me as something that we should be honored by. But I'm just saying, Donald Trump's meeting with Putin today in Finland, but Stormy Daniels is here in Martinsburg. And I guess enough said about that. But on my Facebook, the discussion and the chatter on my Facebook was not terribly favorable to having Stormy Daniels in Martinsburg.
Whether she was here or not, I guess, to me is kind of neither here nor there. It's
I don't know.
But
why did I
yeah,
even mention it?
The publicity, though, that comes from it is certainly like, okay, really? Was that necessary? But, hey, back to the All-Star game just quickly. I looked it up. Of all things, get ready, the last time an All-Star game was delayed by rain was in Washington, D.C. in 1969, and the game had to be played the next afternoon at RFK Stadium as it got rained out that night. Since 1969, there was a 68-minute rain delay in the 1990 All-Star game at Wrigley Field in Chicago, but they were still able to play that night. So depending on how it goes tomorrow night, it would be the first rain out of an All-Star game since 69, and the last time it happened also was in D.C.
Yeah, you have to really feel badly, not only just for the players that are on the All-Star team not getting a chance to, strut their stuff, as they say, in front of a national audience, but so much planning and so much work goes in to an All-Star game. I mean, it's a full-time staff working for really the entire year, probably out of the MLB offices as well as the Nats ownership and the whole coordination that goes on. An All-Star game coming to a city means a lot to a city. All cities want the All-Star game. It means a lot to their local economy. It brings a lot of national attention to that particular city. But having an event like this in Washington, D.C., especially just on the heels of the Stanley Cup playoffs, really has put Washington, D.C. over the course of a month at sort of the sports epicenter of the country. And if there's any city out there that needs stuff like this, it would be Washington, D.C., because of what goes on there on a day-to-day basis, the bickering, the arguing, the division, all that happens there in Washington, D.C. So I'm kind of delighted. Let's take a breath, Washington. Let's have a few days of unity and a few days of fun, and let's play an All-Star game and have a great event.
Understand as well, the new D.C. United Stadium has opened up. So
has
another
already opened
bright
up.
light.
Have they actually played a game in it yet?
That's what I understand. I will have to look that up as I've gotten some information on the new stadium there. In fact, the last time that we went down to Nationals Park, seeing those lights from a distance, I was kind of confused as to, wait a minute, what's so close? And it was the final construction process going on.
It's right in that area, and you've got the stadium that you're now talking about, which I think is pretty typical of the new soccer venues that have opened up around the country. They sit about 20,000 people. They're rounded out. They're smaller to sort of accommodate what the soccer crowd is, because if you go to a soccer game at RFK, and I've been to one of their games, you've got 12, 13, 14,000 people in that stadium that sits 60,000 or 50,000, so it always looks empty. So it's really cool to go to a soccer game in a venue like that, and it's exactly like the one that the Shepherd Rams played in Kansas City when you were out there announcing the D2 championship game a few years ago.
Yes, Sporting Kansas City was the name of the park. They now have, I believe, a children's hospital out there that has naming rights, and so it's a slightly different name, but it's where the Sporting Kansas City soccer team played, so it was named right after the team. And yeah, it was a terrific venue. I mean, absolutely a terrific venue. Limited kind of seating on one end looking down the field. The other end was a little more of the overall stadium feel, but it would seat, in the neighborhood of 20,000 people. It was neat.
I've seen a artist rendition of the one in D.C., and it's kind of along those same sorts of lines. I guess we would be remiss if we didn't at least mention the fact that this biggest sporting event in the world occurred yesterday, the championship game of the World Cup with Croatia and France. Did you get a chance to watch any of it?
I didn't get to see any of it, got a chance to read a little bit about it, especially a controversial goal that ended up putting France in front 2-1. I believe it was right before the half, and then they went on for the 4-2 victory. Also saw on Facebook of fans from both teams kind of coming together. I believe the Facebook post was from Ireland, where fans of both teams, were watching the game and so forth, and they kind of all poured out into the streets. And part of the video and the caption over it was, "I expected there to be trouble, but it was so neat to watch as the fans came together and shook hands and hugged and sang and danced in the middle of the street."
Amazing.
As they were just celebrating
just
what had
amazing.
been a great game and a great run for both of those teams.
So if the U.S. ever played in that game, can you imagine the ratings in this country? Because people like me, although I was traveling yesterday, so I didn't have the opportunity to watch it, even if I had wanted to. But the soccer, non-soccer fans like me would watch the game out of patriotism, just as I did when the women were in it. Remember a few years ago? And the women's championship World Cup game had enormous ratings in this country. I can only imagine if the men were ever to go that far, which probably won't happen in my lifetime from what soccer experts tell me, but who knows. But the biggest sporting event in the world happened yesterday, and here's two sports guys like you and me, for whatever reason, didn't even watch the biggest sporting event in the world. We have every soccer fan out there listening right now saying, well, what a couple of punks you are.
Sorry about that. Hey, the new stadium, Audi Field is the name of it. So Audi, the car line, buying the naming rights in D.C., and they did open on Saturday, and the United scored a win over Vancouver 3-1 to christen that brand new facility.
Does it have the attendance figures there?
Let's see.
I hope it was packed. I'm sure it probably was. There's a real hardcore fan base for D.C. United. I know friends who have season tickets.
They had really dipped, though, in their attendance.
Oh, had they? Okay.
This year, I had read that earlier in the year, as a result of waiting to move into the new facility and all the things going on, they had suffered one of the worst drops in overall attendance of any team playing professional soccer in the U.S., and now I'm sure that will come back up with the opening of the brand new stadium.
We've got a good show today, Matt. Coming up at 8:30, Sonny Hoskinson celebrating the 28th year of an amazing place right here in West Virginia, Camp Catch Your Breath. Savon Hunter, our intern, will be making her co-host debut with us as we sit down with Sonny and talk about a very valuable program. We're going to take a very short break right now. You're listening to Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. Matt in for Rob. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
CBS News Special Report. President Trump and Vladimir Putin have been behind closed doors, one-on-one, for more than an hour now. Going into their summit, they shook hands after hopeful words from Mr. Trump.
I think we will end up having an extraordinary relationship. I hope so. I've been saying, and I'm sure you've heard over the years, and as I campaigned, that getting along with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing.
The president said they'd talk about everything from trade to military to nuclear to China. But he's under pressure back home in Washington to ask Putin to hand over 12 intelligence officers indicted in the Russia probe. Correspondent Major Garrett is in Helsinki.
It's been unclear how significantly he will press that issue of election meddling in 2016. There are lots of other issues. Crimea, the Baltic states, Syria.
Russia expert Beth Noble.
He is a trained intelligence officer. He is great at reading people. It's going to be very interesting to see how he sizes up President Trump and what he is willing to deliver.
CBS News.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. In the aftermath of the recent flooding, President Trump has approved a disaster declaration for 7 West Virginia counties, including Jefferson and Morgan, that'll release federal funds so that governmental agencies and some nonprofits can repair public facilities or replace them. John Oram was a candidate for sheriff of Berkeley County, but next summer he and his wife's civil suit against some officers of the state police will be going to trial. The suit claims that in August of 2016, Trooper Matthew Gilmore made an unreasonable search and seizure at the Orams' house in Inwood and seeks damages for medical expenses, pain and suffering, lawyers' fees, and psychological and emotional distress, among other things. The police had been in their home that day in response to a 911 call from Oram's wife about John lying in a bathroom, unresponsive. After he was revived, Oram was arrested by Gilmore for heroin possession, a charge that was dropped 2 months later and then expunged. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
A typical summer Monday for Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan counties with some sun and clouds mixed. And then during the afternoon, a better chance for some showers and thunderstorms to fire up in the heat of the day. Our forecast high near 92, and the winds light from the south under 10 miles per hour. For tonight, a couple of evening showers around, but otherwise just mostly cloudy, warm and humid. The early morning low 72. Tomorrow, an increasing chance for showers and storms. In fact, they're likely in the afternoon as a cool front approaches. There could be some heavy rain with some of these, too. Highest temperature into the upper 80s. Front clears the area tomorrow night. Wednesday and Thursday were sunny, less humid, highs mid-80s. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
What words come to mind when you think of Honda? Reliable should be one. Fun, that's a good one. But there is one word that sums up every Honda. Quality. Because Honda was KBB.com's 2018 best overall brand. So whether you choose the sizzling Civic, acclaimed Accord, or sporty CRV, you know you're getting quality that's unmatched.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 Brand Image Awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
When you're going through difficult times, it's good to know you have families around you can count on. That's us, Brown Funeral Home. Since 1880, our family has stood with other families through the hardest of times. So when you're looking for peace of mind, let our family help your family. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
From the crack of the bat to the flash of the leather, Talk Radio WRNR's got your Nationals coverage all summer long.
Swinging a line drive deep left field. Stevenson back, way back at the wall. Leaps and makes the catch. Bangs into the fence and holds on. That's the second out of the inning. 2 out here at the bottom of the ninth. A spectacular catch by Andrew Stevenson.
Listen live on AM 740 and FM 106.5. Talk Radio WRNR, the Panhandle Sports Radio station.
WVU Medicine welcomes Dr. Sarika Bagri to the staff at WVU Medicine Primary Care Inwood. Dr. Bagri is board certified in internal medicine and is now accepting new patients at Primary Care Inwood, conveniently located at 5047 Jaredstown Road, Suite 2B in the Inwood Medical Building. For more information or to schedule an appointment with Dr. Bagri, call WVU Medicine Primary Care Inwood at 304-229-6343. 304-229-6343.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
Welcome back into the program, Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. Matt in for Rob today, who is on vacation. Our sponsors today, Bechtel Jewelers, West Virginia's largest Pandora retailer on Route 11, South Inwood, next to Viva Mexico, and the Ferretti Law Office, delivering first-rate service and results for our clients. Joe Ferretti will be in tomorrow co-hosting with Matt. I will also be gone tomorrow, one of those rare days. And you get Congressman Mooney, I think, on the program tomorrow, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Lots to talk. I'm sure every American would just love to get a congressman and give them a piece of their mind. And tomorrow, Matt, you have that opportunity to give Alex Mooney a piece of your mind.
I don't have a lot of mind to spare, so I'll hang on to some of it.
You're going to take it easy on him.
I don't know about that, but
it's funny doing this show. Inevitably, I will hear this back from Republicans. When I interview a Democrat, they'll say, "Oh, you went easy on him." And then from Democrats, I interview a Republican, "Oh, you went easy on him." I was like, I can never win. So I remember one day last week, I got called a liberal, too liberal, and too conservative by two different people on the same program. And every time that happens, my wife always reminds me, well, you must be doing something right if you're making both sides mad.
There you go.
So it's not my intention to make anybody mad. It's just try to have interviews with people who ask them the questions that the average person in the Eastern Panhandle might ask, and that's really all there is to it. And with so much going on these days, I think that's kind of important. There's two special things going on right now. Number one, Siobhan Hunter, our great summer intern, who's handling our social media all summer long and doing other things, has joined me in the studio as co-host for this segment. This is Siobhan Hunter's debut as co-host on Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. So, are you nervous?
I'm a little bit nervous.
So it's your job. You need to be funny, witty, insightful, intelligent. You need to be all the things that Rob is.
I think I can do that.
Okay, you're going to rise to the occasion. And the reason that we brought Siobhan in is not only because I just thought it would be a really cool thing to do. Heck, we might just keep her in here all week, man. But there's a very special place that Siobhan has been going to since she was 8 years old.
Yes.
And she's 19 years old now, so that would be 11 years if I do my math correctly. And it is called Camp Catch Your Breath. Camp Catch Your Breath. It's held right here in West Virginia, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's in Jane Lou, West Virginia.
And this is their 28th annual camp. And on the phone, we have Sonny Hoskinson, who I guess Sonny is the director?
Yeah, he's camp director.
Camp director Sonny Hoskinson. Welcome into Eastern Panhandle Talk, Sonny. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Sonny, tell us a little bit. Just give us the big picture here. What is Camp Catch Your Breath?
Well, Camp Catch Your Breath is a specialty camp for children with asthma. We serve children ages 8 to 13 from all over the state of West Virginia, and we even have some come from out of state. They travel into Jane Lou, which is near the western area of West Virginia, to Jackson's Mill, which is the WVU Jackson's Mill, which is a state 4-H camp, and they spend a week there. It's an overnight camp, and what we do is we try to make it a fun, interactive, normal camp experience with educational components dealing with asthma, the monitoring of asthma, and just an all-around overview of what's going on in their life and how they deal with asthma, and then how they can control it and self-manage this disease state as they go through life.
I can turn to both you and Siobhan for this question, but talk to us about for those of us who are not real familiar or have not been around a lot of people with asthma. I know my granddaughter has suffered a little bit with this as well, I think a mild case. But what are some of the challenges? Siobhan, you go first. What are some of the challenges that a child faces who's afflicted with asthma?
Well, first off, I've had asthma my whole life. Since I can remember, I don't remember a time when I didn't have asthma. So it's just mostly, kids like to run around and play and stuff like that. And when you have asthma, I feel like your parents are really protective, because any second it could be an asthma attack. If you're running too hard, it could be an asthma attack. So I feel like a lot is you're really sheltered as a kid and watched over. You can't do things that other kids can, is what your parents tell you, because you have asthma. You can't go run down the street without your inhaler, and you always have to carry it around and stuff like that. So I think really camp teaches you that you can do the things that other kids do. You just have to have your inhaler with you, and that's it.
Sonny, talk to us about how you got involved with this. What's your personal story, and why are you so committed to this cause?
Well, I've been involved with camp for 26 years now, so I've been around a long time. A gentleman started this camp here at United Hospital Center back in the early 1990s, and he asked me to come on the third year of camp to monitor the kids' medications. I'm a pharmacist by trade, and so I came on in that capacity, looking at the medications, making sure there weren't interactions, any problems with those, and reviewing it. As time progressed, and over the next year, the gentleman left the area, so I took over camp. So I've been directing this camp ever since that point. And it's quite rewarding to deal with these children. Some of them I see, yearly, and then we always get a lot of new kids coming in. You hear the stories. I've heard all kinds, where kids get made fun of because they have an inhaler, and we're trying to get that stigma out. There's no reason for bullying or anything like that just because you have to deal with something that's different from a lot of the normal kids in camp there, or normal kids in school. But camp tries to teach those aspects of how to self-monitor, how to build self-esteem, and just become a better person. And even we have opportunities for leadership as Savon has moved through. She's been the ideal camper. She's been the ideal junior counselor. And as she's grown and matured, she's become a senior counselor and is a vital part of camp right now.
She's blushing right now, by the way. I think you made her blush. You mentioned, and so we've had Savon here as an intern throughout the summer, and we all have fallen in love with her, and we all admire her. And I think one of the reasons we do is because she is so poised and so confident at a young age. And you mentioned the building of self-esteem at the camp. How do you go about that? Because I'm looking at a young woman here who is full of self-esteem, in my opinion. And I'm thinking that camp might have had something to do with that.
Well, in our teachings, we teach them that self-monitoring skills, they can build those and actually catch asthma attacks before they occur. The children that come to camp, they are very astute and very knowledgeable, probably more than most of the lay people out there, about medications. They know which rescue inhaler they have to use. They know what are their long-acting beta agonists. They know all the different terminology that is in the medical field. And along with all the information they gather, all of our staff are medical professionals or someone like Savon who has dealt with asthma all their life. So we have doctors, we have pharmacists, we have respiratory therapists, nurses, and that makes up most of our staff. And, along with this normal camp experience, we have asthma education classes, which we talk about asthma and the feelings and how you feel about dealing with it on a daily basis. We have nutrition class. A lot of kids think they have to sit around because they have asthma. That's actually not true. They learn about healthy snacks as opposed to snacks that may not be as good for you. And, when people come to camp, media and different things, they say these kids don't look sick. Well, that's because they're being monitored. That's because they're being controlled in their asthma, and they're learning to look at the signs before they get an actual asthma attack.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures here on the brochure. It looks like everybody's having a good time. And I love your slogan, by the way, a good time is only a breath away. Savon, share with us, if you will, what this camp over the years has meant to you and how it's helped you in your life.
I know that before I went, like Sonny said about confidence, like I used to be afraid to use my inhaler in front of my friends and stuff like that. Like I would hide it or go into the bathroom or something because I didn't want anyone to see me use it. And now it's just if you're my friend, I have asthma. I've had it forever, and I can't control it, and my inhaler's in my back pocket.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. And camp has once showed me that there are so many other people that deal with the same thing, which is crazy. There are still people that are my age and still have asthma. They've had asthma their whole life, and it's just something that we deal with. Camp has definitely brought me a family that I will always have. There are people that I get to see every year, and I look forward to it all year, to talk to them and catch up with them and get to spend a week with them. It's just like, it's like something that will never leave my life, I know for a fact.
I wanted to ask Sonny, if you'll just kind of give us a little background for those of us that maybe have not dealt with asthma. What exactly is it, and what is that challenge it presents, especially for kids who, again, as you said, even as Savon just talked about, you know, maybe don't want to let their friends into that part of their life?
Well, asthma is an inflammatory process, and usually brought on by a trigger of some sort, whether it be exercise, whether it be pollens, dander, grass, whatever. So when those things enter the airways, they cause the inflammatory process to flare up, therefore narrowing the airways. And when those airways become narrow, it becomes difficult to breathe. You know, we've done experiments. People want to know what it feels like to have asthma. There's a little experiment where you can run in place for about 2 or 3 minutes and then put a straw in your mouth and try to breathe through that straw. It's scary and it's difficult. So that's how you can imagine what someone's feeling when they have an asthma attack. It's frightening. Savon could probably better describe that. I'm unfortunate I've never had it. I have a son that has exercise-induced asthma, and you know, I watched him go through the high school process as a wrestler, and you know, he would be doing great and about to win a match, and all of a sudden, the last minute of a match, he'd just melt and get pinned or something. And I'm like, what is going on? And finally, we figured out he just couldn't breathe any longer. He just had an exercise-induced asthma attack, and it's scary.
Can you elaborate on that, Son?
Yeah, I think I had 2 asthma attacks when I was younger that had me hospitalized. It was actually before I went to camp. But it's just basically like you can't catch your breath. Like, as many times as you try to, you can't even take a deep breath. It's just like impossible. Like you can only take these little shallow breaths, which do nothing. It gives you a headache because there's no oxygen going to your brain. It's the scariest thing ever because it just feels like at any second you could stop breathing. But it's just like it's painful and it's so scary. But and sometimes, you know, like when you have an attack, your inhaler does not help because you're too far. Like
that would be really scary.
It's really scary. I mean, I remember a time going to the hospital. I was in the car, sucking on my inhaler, going again and again and again, and it's just like it's not working. Like there's nothing helping, and it's just like, what can you do? You know, it's really out of your hands. And there are times when it's not that bad, but I could just be, you know, I get a tickle in my throat and I start coughing, and then I need my inhaler. It's just anything, basically.
There have been so many medical advancements, Sonny, over the years, right, over the last 30, 40 years. It's almost head-spinning. And I look back when I was a child in the 60s, and I remember, you know, classmates and friends who had asthma. How much have we progressed? It seems to me that this is one of those conditions/diseases that I don't hear a lot about medical progress, if you will. Is there research going on, and is there ever hope that someday those afflicted with asthma could take a pill and have it be gone?
That's a good question. I wish I had the answer for that. You know, they've made strides with new medications that better control longer-acting medications that, afford someone the ability to not have to have, the medications every, few hours or anything like that. But it's a slow process. There is studies going on and continue to be, but, controlling is probably the best thing we're going to get right now. I don't know that we'll ever find a cure for asthma, but that's what we're about. We're about teaching these children how to, look at and see, I've got an asthma attack coming on. We use a peak flow meter, which is a device that they blow into, and it's just a tube where a little lever will go up and down and show you the volume of air that is being expelled from the lungs. And a lot of times we can pinpoint that they're getting into trouble before they actually do have a full-blown asthma attack. And then we can give them a little more medication, kind of watch them, monitor them a little bit more. And that's kind of been the key to our success over the years.
You emphasized earlier, Sonny, I think more of the education part and the learning part with the campers. What about the fun part? Talk to me about how if there's a grandparent or a parent out there and their child is, has asthma, and they might be interested in, and we'll get to the details on how you can call and go online or whatever to register and find out more. Savant, talk to me about the fun part of camp.
There is a lot of fun. Yes, you do have to wake up early, which the kids don't like. And yes, you do have some...
And that makes it like every other camp in America, regardless of what the topic is, right?
Yes, you have to wake up early. But, the kids, yes, they have asthma education and nutrition. But, in nutrition, you still get to play games and eat snacks, which who doesn't like food? And in asthma education, there are still games you play, but they're educational. And also, a lot of kids do like to show off how much they know about asthma. Like, that's a big deal.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I mean, so there's
if you know which inhalers for what, then
you're
cool.
really cool. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, but then also we have pool time every day. We do games every day. We have people come in. We have clowns and jugglers and magicians and things like that come in. We do karaoke. We always go on a field trip every year, too. So we go out of the camp. There's a lot of fun stuff to do, and by the end of the night, they are so tired and ready for bed. So,
I would imagine, I'm going to take a guess here, that a lot of kids that come to this camp, when they're back in their real world at school, they might be the only ones in their class with asthma. Mm-hmm. And so they feel a sense that they stand out in a way that they probably wish they didn't. They go to camp and they're, 100, 200, however many kids, and they're all kind of in it together. There has to be great
They're all
comfort in
going
that.
through the same thing.
And so in a way, they kind of learn from one another on how to deal with it. I mean, they become as important as the teachers to each other, the whole peer thing. And Sonny, are you the one that scheduled the clowns and the jugglers? Is that part of your job?
Yeah, I put together the program. This year we're going to a field trip. We're going to Idlewild Amusement Park for a full day up there, so have lots of fun. There's a water park as well as the amusement park. I have a science program coming in called COSI, coming out of Columbus, Ohio, for an evening entertainment. We have a mentalist coming in.
A mentalist? Like a mind reader?
Well, he does all kinds of different things. He memorizes all kinds of things. He's a magician, which goes along with our theme this year. We're doing a Harry Potter theme. So kids a lot of them are looking forward to that. That's kind of something we've never done before. And then we have a campfire, which is kind of unique, but we can't have a real wood-burning campfire. So we have a propane fire, and we do typical, normal 4-H things. I mean, we want this camp to be a normal camp experience, because a lot of these kids call camp and say, hey, I want to sign up, but I have all these medications. And they say, well, we're not a specialty camp. We don't have the medical personnel to handle your situation. So, regretfully, they have to decline their admittance. So, but, those are the kids that we want to come to camp. And it's not just for those who have severe asthma or moderate asthma. If you have exercise-induced asthma, you can benefit from coming to camp.
What kind of exercises do you do, Savant? Do the kids go through it? Or does it depend on the severity of their condition?
We do have like a sort of gym class. I can't think of what it's called right now.
Activities?
Yeah, activities. And, at the beginning, you stretch, do your warm-ups and stuff, and then they do things like play soccer and football. We do Frisbee golf. They play, like normal games, dodgeball. One year they even had one of those, like, it's not a tightrope, but the wire across two trees, and you get to walk across it.
That's what they walk across.
Yeah, you walk across. It was low. It was low to the ground.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, they do like typical gym class activities. So
yeah, that's the point I hadn't thought of, because Sonny, you're right. Some kids would like to go to whatever camp, but they can't because they have a particular condition. So by sort of presenting to these kids a normal camp environment, I think that's absolutely awesome. So let's get down to, if we have a listener out there who might be interested in this, Sonny, how can they find out more, and how could they maybe go about signing up?
Okay, well, if you have a child ages 8 to 13 that would like to come to camp, we do have a few slots still open. Now, camp does start next Sunday, July 22nd. It'll go through the 27th. Again, that's at Jackson's Mill. And the application is very easy. You can go to app.campdoc, that's campdoc.com/register/CCYB, and put in all the information right there, and you're registered to come to camp.
And if they didn't write that down, could they Google Camp Catch Your Breath and probably go there? I would imagine. And we'll put that, Sherry, let's put that up on our website as well. So if you didn't get that, you can go to the WRNR Talk Radio. That would actually be Talk Radio, WRNR.com. And we'll post that up for you. But that is a fantastic camp. 28th annual Camp Catch Your Breath. It's a good time. A good time is only a breath away. It starts next Sunday on July the 22nd, and our own Savon Hunter is an alum. Would you call it an alumna? Is that an alumnus? I don't know. And you're going back this year as a counselor.
Yes, of course.
So you're telling me you're going to be out next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told Rob, not you.
All right. Well, he's the head guy, so that's okay. I get that.
And probably one important thing is the registration is only $70. And because of our generous donors and folks we have that support camp, I have scholarships available. So if the finances are a problem, it's a free week at camp for someone who can learn about their asthma.
Sonny, so nice to have you. Have a great 28th annual Camp Catch Your Breath, and the work that you do is just really awesome. It was so nice to have you on, and so nice to have Savon doing her debut as a coach. She did well.
She did a great job.
All right, thanks so much. Savon, it's we all look back at our camp memories, and to look back on this for you, it just gives you a glow, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I love talking about it, and I love going there.
I went to Camp Yolijua in Southern California, up in the mountains near Big Bear, and then also to Boy Scout camp on Santa Catalina Island. We're going to take just a very short break here on Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. We're going to come back with Kelly Tangsley. Stay tuned.
Say you don't know me.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by TheraWorks Relief.
I'm Stephen Portnoy in Helsinki, where at Finland's presidential palace, the Trump-Putin summit is underway.
I really think the world wants to see us get along.
President Trump said he expects to develop an extraordinary relationship with his Russian counterpart. Vladimir Putin said the meeting offers the pair the chance to discuss the sour state of U.S.-Russian relations. In an earlier tweet, the president put the blame on many years of U.S. foolishness and stupidity, and now the rigged witch hunt. Substantively, the president has said he intends to raise Syria, Ukraine, and election meddling here, among other issues. But one analyst says no matter what happens here in Helsinki,
Putin will really look like a winner for his own people because he's been a pariah since 2014.
That was the year Russia invaded Crimea. Beth Noble is a former CBS News Moscow bureau chief.
Putin was kicked out of the G7, and so just the fact that he is getting an audience with the American president is a big win for Putin.
The two men will give a readout of their talks as they face cameras and microphones later this morning. I'm Stephen Portnoy in Helsinki. Now with more CBS News, here's Deborah Rodriguez.
A wildfire that's blocked an entrance to Yosemite National Park has burned 7 square miles and claimed the life of a firefighter trying to contain the flames. CAL FIRE's Nancy Korparek says Braden Varney was killed when his bulldozer overturned.
Firefighters know this is a dangerous job, but We don't ever want to lose one of them.
Firefighters will try to navigate the flames and the steep terrain to retrieve Varney's body today. A couple of hikers looking for a place to fish in Big Sur say they came across a Jeep Liberty at the bottom of a 200-foot cliff. About a half an hour later, Chelsea Moore says she and her husband found 23-year-old Angela Hernandez, who'd been missing for a week.
We just kind of panicked with adrenaline, like, oh my God, you were in that car we just saw, and you're alive, and you must need help.
Moore hospitalized in stable condition. She says she survived by using a radiator hose to siphon water from a stream. Consumers have been showing their optimism over the economy by spending more. Retail sales were up a healthy 0.5% in June. On your mark, Prime shoppers, Amazon's Prime Day begins this afternoon. CBS's Diane King Hall.
This year's Prime Day will last 36 hours, a few hours longer than last year. The price of an Amazon Prime subscription is now $119. Amazon is promising 1 million deals, which would be the most ever.
S&P futures are down 1. This is CBS News.
To experience relief from foot and leg cramps, use TheraWorks Relief. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at your local pharmacy. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter posts your job to over 100 job boards with just one click, and then their smart matching technology finds the right candidates. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for a TheraWorks Relief.
Hey, Dave, you in for golf this weekend?
I can't. I promised I'd find a plumber to fix a sink and a painter to paint the...
Just use Angie's List.
Doesn't that cost money?
Not at all. It's free to find pros in your area who can do the work. You can even read ratings and reviews from other customers.
What about roofing pros?
Angie's List has pros for everything. And to save time, they'll even match you to the best pros for the job.
Oh, that's awesome. Looks like I'll be able to play after all.
Find the best pros for your next project at angieslist.com.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. Martinsburg's ambulance problem is being turned over to the city's attorney, Ken Sayer. Fire Chief Paul Bragg telling the council recently he can't get the company who made the chronically troubled vehicles to fix them properly, so Sayer was asked to write to International Navistar about the matter. The city bought the ambulances just 3 years ago at a cost of more than $750,000, and they were expected to last 15 years. West Virginia U.S. Attorney Bill Powell is applauding Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the creation of Operation Synthetic Opioid Surge, which in the Northern District of West Virginia will focus on a surge in prosecutions of those distributing fentanyl and other synthetic opioids in Berkeley County. In 2017, Berkeley County saw the highest rate of overdose deaths in the district at 54. The operation seeks to reduce the supply of deadly synthetic opioids in high-impact areas and to identify wholesale distribution networks and international and domestic suppliers as well. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
A typical summer Monday for Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan counties with some sun and clouds mixed. And then during the afternoon, a better chance for some showers and thunderstorms to fire up in the heat of the day. Our forecast high near 92, and the winds light from the south under 10 miles per hour. For tonight, a couple of evening showers around, but otherwise just mostly cloudy, warm and humid. The early morning low 72. Tomorrow, an increasing chance for showers and storms. In fact, they're likely in the afternoon as a cool front approaches. There could be some heavy rain with some of these, too. Highest temperature into the upper 80s. Front clears the area tomorrow night. Wednesday and Thursday were sunny, less humid, highs mid-80s. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building is now open. This new 3-story, 40,000 square foot facility is conveniently located off Interstate 81, exit 20 at the intersection of US 11 and Campus Drive. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills medical office building features many different offices and services for area residents. It's now home to urgent care, women's imaging center, lab services, and primary care pediatrics. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building now open to serve you.
Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson. We're accident, injury, and disability lawyers with over 120 years combined trial experience. When you owe an insurance company money, they want to be paid right away. When an insurance company owes you money, that's a different story, isn't it? At Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, we devote ourselves to making that story turn out in your favor. we play hardball. Injured in a car wreck? Call for a free consultation. Call us at 304-LAWYERS or 304-263-0900.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, it makes sense to choose an insurance agent that's a part of your community. Your local Allstate agent knows the ins and outs of both owning and protecting a home in your neighborhood. By choosing a local Allstate agent, you get an expert who knows the community and is committed to getting to know you, which means you'll get the protection that fits you and your life. Are you in good hands? Contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today for a free quote at 263-4596. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company. Simply free e-checking from City National Bank. Perfect if you want basic checking with no monthly service fees or balance requirements. Stop by any of our 7 Eastern Panhandle locations or visit us online at bankatcity.com. City National Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Talk radio is more than just news and weather. Check us out on Facebook for promotions, giveaways, fun, and games. Facebook.com/Talk Radio WRNR.
Welcome back into the second half of Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. Matt in for Rob today. If you missed the first hour, I wanted to let you know that. He is on vacation. I think he left on Saturday with his family to an undisclosed location. I'm not allowed to mention where it is, Lake. What's the name of that lake? He said some lake, that's all I know. I don't think he wants everyone to know that. But we will miss him for the week and try and carry on anyway. Our sponsors for this segment, the 9 o'clock segment, L.A. Roberts Jewelers, committed to excellence in quality design and craftsmanship in historic downtown Martinsburg, and the Brown Funeral Homes and Cremations, Robert Fields and Sons, a family-owned full-service funeral home that has proudly served our area since 1880. And Rob, as I always say, Maz, I always say, that is a long darn time ago. When you can sustain a business for that long, you must have something going on.
That's it. You're doing it right.
Yeah, it's not a business that any of us really want to visit, but when you do have to visit it, it's nice to know that they're going to take care of your loved ones in the way that they do. You can listen to the program on 740 AM, 106.5 FM, cable channel 10, where you can also see us. We're streaming on Talk Radio WRNR, or you can download our app on WRNR Talk Radio. And are we back on YouTube?
As far as I know, we'll post the show at the end of today.
And be up around noon or so.
And hopefully around noon it will be there. If it's not there, it's because YouTube found some other reason to block us.
They blocked us because we were using the Airwaves song by the Ramones, and somehow they thought that there was a licensing violation going on. And speaking of violating things, Matt, I haven't got a chance to talk to you about your criminal activity either, being called by Major League Baseball, that they were pretty upset with Matt Miller, weren't they?
I have no idea. All I know is it showed
Matt,
up on...
They were upset with you. The commissioner called you. Let's play this out. The commissioner called you personally and said, you're in trouble.
I wish he'd have called me personally. I have a few ideas I'd like to share with him, but no, I was just shocked. To me, a small show with a new YouTube channel that has a limited number of folks that are beginning to chime in. It's growing, and then we appreciate that, but to think of Major League Baseball with the millions upon, how about billions of dollars that go around, and they blocked us from being able to put our Miller Time program up on YouTube only because the television in the background had the Orioles-Yankees game going on while we were doing the show.
In the background. It was just background to the one camera that we have in here.
It was background to the one camera. We twice made mention because the game was going on live while we were on the air, so we would come back from a break and look up and go, hey, by the way, the Orioles and Yankees are playing a doubleheader today, and here's the score, and here's what inning they're in, and then get into our regular conversation.
That is absolutely crazy. I've since learned by talking to some people that there are actually people who work for Major League Baseball who have their job is to monitor that sort of thing. They actually watch for it, and they use algorithms to pick up on it and the whole thing. It's rather sophisticated, but different than the morning show, our show here. Your show is actually live on YouTube, and we can't do that yet. We probably will be at some point, but this show goes live on cable channel 10.
Right.
And yours does not, so yours goes live on YouTube.
Yes, so we were live that day.
So really,
which is funny. You can't rebroadcast it.
Actually, what you and Matt do at 5 o'clock. Think about this: the two of you host a live national program, a worldwide program.
Anyone can tune in
anywhere in the world. You can tune in live to Miller Time at 5 o'clock Eastern Time.
One of those things we don't think about when it comes to the World Wide Web. And I go back to when Cedric Brown was at Martinsburg High School. So that's been a few years back now, as I think Cedric has wrapped up college even. And we got a call one evening. Ben Copenhaver was doing our studio engineering at the time. And Ben would text me back and forth throughout the game. And we're in the pregame show. And we have a pre-recorded segment where we had already done interviews. And during that segment, he texted me and said, "Hey, just got a call from someone listening in Russia." And I thought, okay, we'll have some fun. So I showed it to Mike Jacobs. We come back from the break. We did our next segment. And then going into the next break, I mentioned, hey, by the way, we want to give a shout out to our listener, I believe in Russia. Thanks for tuning in, obviously listening on the internet. And the next break, I get another text back. It was Cedric Brown's grandmother. She is a missionary in Latvia and was listening to the broadcast to be able to hear her grandson's games as we were broadcasting.
That is a great story.
And it was like, wow, I never thought about that at all.
It's a small, small world.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing. Well, also, you know what? Savon Hunter did such a great job in her first outing as a co-host, Matt. We invited her back to stay.
Rob should be worried right about that.
He should be worried, because if this show turns into Eastern Panhandle Talk with Dave and Savon, Rob will be sorry that he went away this week.
He'll be the Wally Pip.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back in, Savon. You did a nice job.
Thank you.
And it was so great to hear from Sonny, too. You told me before he went on, I said, is he a talker? I mean, because it is talk radio, and I've not met him. And you said not really.
He's not.
But he was.
Yeah, he was. Probably because it's something that he's passionate about.
Well, one person we never worry about talking on the talk show here would be, and speaking of co-hosts, once upon a time part-time co-host here on Eastern Panhandle Talk, Kelly Tanksley with the Martinsburg Berkeley County Library.
Hello, Dave.
Good morning. Always so great to have you.
It's wonderful to be here, as always.
I never start a conversation like this with anyone but you, because it just doesn't seem to be the right way on talk radio to start a conversation. Bring someone in and say, hey, what's going on with you? But you're the only one I can say, hey, what's going on at the library? Give it to us.
Wow. Okay, so I always go like I have 30 seconds left, so I'm going to be in the headlight, the top of it. First, we are in the midst.
We have lots of time. Breathe.
Okay.
I want you to read. I've got a brochure here on Can't Breathe. Okay?
Oh, that's right. I heard it. I heard all about it.
Deep breath, Kelly. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
That's slow. Okay, there you go.
We're in the midst of our summer reading program, so we are going like gangbusters. We've had phenomenal audiences for all of our programs. The kids are coming in, the adults are coming in. All of our libraries have done a field day or a rock out day. This theme this year is Libraries Rock. So we've had our Dinosaur Rock program where at all the libraries where they came, a company comes out of Philadelphia and kids learn about dinosaurs.
A dinosaur company?
It's not a dinosaur company, but it is a company that does works with museums to bring really good programming to libraries.
Now, is that a one-day program, or is that over a period of time?
No, it's a one-day program, and we have it at each of the libraries. And the reason we do that is it's much easier. People have their favorite libraries, but also, even though we have your favorite library, you might be away, you might have another reason you couldn't make your favorite library's programming. This allows you to have 4 opportunities to go to the library to see it.
Now, Savannah and I have in front of us here 4 different calendars.
Absolutely.
And these calendars are only for July. Did you notice this, Savannah? This is just the July. And there's 4 calendars. That's because there's 4 libraries.
Absolutely. And, you know, to try, you see how much is going on at these libraries. So to try and put
every day is filled up. No, here's one day that is not. 27th of July at North Berkeley, there's nothing going on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One day.
There's something going on at the other ones, though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Good insight, Savannah.
You're good.
Yeah, she's
I like her.
fast. She's really fast.
She's fast learner. Anyway, we're coming to a close. You know, the library's summer reading program goes all the way through to the end of the month, and then we start having parties. And a couple of our libraries are doing, you know what the 20th anniversary is this year? Harry Potter.
Really? It's been that long?
I know. It's been 20 years.
Since the first movie or the first book?
Book, yeah.
20 years. And
that makes sense because Pete, my son, is 29.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared this story with you before. We knew he was a big-time reader at 9 years old when he devoured the first Harry Potter book in about 7 days.
Absolutely. And I used to read it with my daughter. We'd read it back and forth to each other. She'd come home from school. She'd say, Mom, I've done my homework. Let's read. And we'd read all night long. So it's just one of those books you just don't want to put down.
My sister used to read Harry Potter to me when I was little.
See?
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal generations.
What a nice memory of that with your sister too.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is cool. So a lot of our libraries are doing a 20th anniversary of Harry Potter. And the books are still in print. We still have them in print, but we also have them on ebook and e-audio. So, you know, you're taking a trip with your kids and you want to keep them quiet. You can always you can get the audiobook. So
I have to tell you though, man, I think I enjoyed the Harry Potter movies and books more than my kids. Not that they didn't enjoy them, but I was just captivated by them. I thought they were wonderful. Were you a Harry Potter fan, man?
I have to admit, I have not seen a single Harry Potter.
Okay, so here's what you can do. I found out over the weekend that USA. Well, I know I'm not. Maybe I can't say this.
I got you in trouble on that, didn't I, Matt?
USA Today or USA Channel on cable.
Okay.
They are now the home of Harry Potter, and so over the weekend they played non-stop Harry Potter movies. So all of the movies, they're about 2.5 hours each. So
yeah, you could get on overload if you did all those at one time.
I recorded them so I can play them back later. But that's just me.
So you're a real fan then?
I hadn't seen them in years, and so
exactly. I love going back and seeing those old movies.
Right. So I'm excited about that. So you can always have an opportunity to check, and we have the movies too, so you can check them all out.
One of the things when you sat down, Siobhan, before we went on the air, she said, I had no idea, something to the effect, I had no idea the libraries did all of this. And you said, well, we're just not doing a very good job of getting the word out. But you do a good job of getting the word out, I think, and you're such a great spokesperson for the libraries. I don't know what else you could do.
Wow, thank you. I could be in every household. There's only 116,000 people.
Like campaigning.
We're trying to get in every household ourselves around here. When we get there, you can get there.
Door to door.
Door to door. Knock, here you go. So, you know, it's capturing them at different times, you know, at different areas of your life. I'm going to tell you a story. I really must have this sign on my face that says, please ask me questions. I was getting my nails done yesterday.
Like a sandwich board you wear, over your shoulder, right? Please ask me anything.
Ask me anything. I was getting my nails done yesterday at the nail salon, and the woman next to me was traveling, and she said, for work, she was traveling, and we got to talking, and she said, I wish I knew languages. And I said, did you know that the library has free languages? You don't know that. Transparent languages. And she said, I said, and it gives you vocabulary words and little phrases, and you can do it online, and you can download it to your phone so that while you're traveling, you can still listen to it. She said, so I can learn things like, where's the bathroom? And I said, absolutely. So off she went, happy as a clam. I'm going to the library.
Los Baños, I think, wouldn't it? The bathroom? Los Baños?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Off she goes. I moved to another seat because I was getting my feet and my hands. I'm really sharing a whole lot of information about me, but I'm getting my fingernails done, my nails done now, and the woman sitting next to me works for the IRS and was going to do a business conference, and I said, I'm going away for a fundraising conference this week, and we got to talking about all the tax reforms, and she's learning a lot, and she said, I said, we do taxes at the library. You do? I said, yes, AARP does free taxes during the wintertime. And she said, oh, that's really great. I'd love to make sure I get you guys the forms you need. I said, here's my card. So out and about, you come in contact with people like that people that just didn't know.
Well, I mean, I think that's so true. I think, by the way, it would be donde es los baños, wouldn't it? Where is the bathroom? Yeah, there you go.
I only took 5 years of Spanish. Just can't remember anything.
You know, it is remarkable. So let's talk about then the summer reading program for just a little while longer. This goes on at all 4 of the libraries. Is that true?
Yes. It's a library system-wide summer reading program.
Okay, so we got stuck on Harry Potter. Go beyond Harry Potter and talk to us more about what the reading program would be.
Right, and also all of the reading programs, we've got them separated into preschool, middle readers, teens, and adults. So you have many different levels, and we use, I should have brought you a sample of them, but they use bingo style cards. And it is still all about reading. So you read your books. We do give incentives for reading your books, but, you know, kids like incentives, and why not? And a lot of times our incentives are books. There's other things involved. We have the community give coupons this year. We had McDonald's is giving a snow cone, ice cream cone or something like that to every child who finishes the summer reading program. Cafe
and this is something you can drop your children off at? You don't have to stay with them?
No, you need to be there. If they're underage, you have to be.
Okay.
It's not daycare.
It's not daycare. Thank you very much. And there's a difference.
Thank you, Savon.
I like her a lot. You need to keep her.
Yeah, she's a keeper.
But it's an opportunity for parents to be involved with their children. Get in there, see a program, and the reason we do a lot of these programs isn't just because we want to keep them busy, but it's really to spark the imagination. Because once you spark the imagination of a child, there's no limit to what they can learn and how they learn.
And the value of doing something like that with your mom or dad, talk to us
priceless.
about that. It is priceless.
Priceless. You just heard Svan say, I remember my sister reading to me.
Right.
She
has 6 of them, by the way.
That's okay.
Yeah.
She's got memories.
The baby.
You're the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, I remember what we see now coming back to the library regularly is, I remember the library. My mom took me here. Now I'm married and I have a child, and I want my child to experience the same thing.
My mom is 87 years old, and I'm going to tell her that someday. Thank you for taking me to the library when I was a child, because that's what she did.
Yes.
And part she did it because she really couldn't afford to do a whole lot. There was 5 of us.
Right.
And she had to watch her pennies when we were growing up.
Right.
And the library was something she could take us to, check out a book, find our own book. They didn't have as many activities back then as they do now, apparently, at libraries. But that's a great memory I have, and I just kind of thought about that. That's what my mom did for us.
And, and that's the good thing about a library being in a community. All walks of life, whether you have lots of money or not a lot of money, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, the library is open to everyone, and it's free access to everyone. And it's important to keep that for a community, because we grow when we involve our community members to be part of our library.
Is there a new wave of library fans now amongst young people? Because I can guarantee you we went through a time when libraries were sort of outdated a little bit,
Yes.
What have you done sort of strategically and tactically, understanding that? Because you'd agree with me. There was a time where libraries were kind of dinosaurs.
I used to get made fun of because I had 2 library cards.
Oh, really?
1 but 2.
So here's the kid with asthma with 2 library cards. All right?
We're learning a lot about her today.
And look at her now. She's actually pretty darn normal in my mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all 19-year-olds are talk show co-hosts,
Absolutely. I think strategically, libraries had to reimagine themselves.
That's a great word.
We reimagined.
It's even better than reinvent. You reimagined yourself. I love that.
Right. And so, you saw the introduction of ebooks and e-audio, which is another way to grasp people. You saw the specific you had teen advisory boards, so that you had teens on a board that came to the library that said, what do I want to do? What am I looking for? What activities, if anything, what materials do I want to read? you had young librarians for the young program that went with the schools and talked with the schools and saw what they're looking for their children, what they expect kids to have. They expect children to be digitally literate by the time they come into school. Now, I don't know about you, but those digital handheld things that we're all addicted to, they're not cheap. They're expensive, and not everybody can afford them. And we're not just talking about a phone. We're talking about the computer. We're talking about a laptop. We're talking about a tablet. Children can...
We have all three right here.
And we have all
table.
three of them here. Children can watch their parents work on a phone because a majority, I would say a majority of people have a phone. Most of them are smart. That's not the same intuitive learning that they need that they would get from a laptop or a tablet. It's a bigger screen. There's more interaction with them. So those skills, those children are expected to know before they come to school.
Can you imagine Savant's parents had to buy 7 iPhones every year?
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Amazing. So those are the things that the library is looking at in ways to engage and push the boundaries of what past libraries have thought about. You know, they come in, it's still funny. We have people come in and they say, shh, you got to be quiet in the library. Right? Right? You all think about it.
Well, yeah, if you speak above a voice like this, you'd get yelled at in the library.
Correct.
I mean, I still get yelled at school in the library.
Well, guess what? In our library, we have a top floor that's quiet. None of our other floors are quiet.
Oh, really?
So you
That's
can
like
have
the train.
conversation.
The front car is the quiet train.
Right. Yeah, the top floor. It's the quiet, the learning. That floor that's in when you do your research. It should be quiet.
That would be a floor they probably would not let you and me on very often.
I used to have an office there. They quickly moved me down.
I'm guessing your office is not on that floor.
Not at all.
2 Bits Radio Theater. Talk to me about 2 Bits Radio Theater.
So we had an opportunity to partner with a company that's doing 2 Bits Radio Theater. It's Growth Media. They produce a 1940s style talk radio show. So remember the Alfred Hitchcock, the Twilight Zone-ish kind of things where actors are actually doing talk radio and
Sound
a story.
effects
Sound effects in the background.
Right before television came online.
Absolutely.
It was huge. That was what you did.
Right. So they're actually producing a 2-Bit radio show and filming it so that you can look at it and watch the production of it. And we're having a free showing of one of their first shows that they've written at the library. And the reason I'm excited about this is we decided to do this first on July 28th, 6 p.m. after hours of the library, and it's free to the public, because what's going to come out of this is they've decided to partner with us. They've asked us to partner with us to produce a 3-week workshop for teens on script writing.
Because I see this on the brochure here, coming soon, teen script writing workshop.
Absolutely. They're going to do a 3-week script writing workshop where the teens come in, they learn all about it, they write a script, and then guess what? Those actors come back and do their script, and we film it.
And that will be held where?
July 28th at 6 p.m.
At the Martinsburg
At the main library, downtown Martinsburg.
Okay.
You can walk to it. It's free to the public. You'll watch them. You'll get an idea of the actual radio show and the filming part of it. So it's where you're going to be the live audience in this show.
And I really hope you get a good turnout for that,
I do
because
too.
that's such a fabulous program, especially for a community our size. That's the kind of thing you'd think of maybe, if it was New York or Washington or something, but to have that kind of thing here in Martinsburg is really fabulous.
I'm excited about it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and out of this, I hope will come many more workshops, writing workshops. You know, the library hasn't done a lot of those in the past, but they even want to do some adult writing workshops.
Have you done workshops, I think you have, for aspiring writers? Let's say, I know someone very well that she should be writing a book because she's a fabulous writer, but she just won't take that first step into writing. It's intimidating for her, but she would write great novels if she only did it.
Well, and
that'd be great to have a workshop at the library for writers.
We've had ones for writing like poetry and things like that in the past. It's about time for us to schedule another one about e-publishing, because in some ways that's really the first little foot. You put your foot into water, and get your little toes wet. That's what you do. You can do that with e-publishing. You can publish your own You write and publish your own book.
On Thursday of this week, we'll have Catherine Cobb, local author, in to the studio for the entire 2 hours. We're going to be interviewing some other authors as well. She's going to co-host the show with me, and she is the columnist for the last 15 years with the column It Is What It Is in the Journal. And she's actually leaving West Virginia, so we're going to bring her.
What a shame.
We're going to bring her in and say goodbye to her. So if you are interested in writing or being an author, that would be a great show to come into. So thank you for giving me a chance to plug that on Thursday.
Not a problem. Anything for you, Dave.
I appreciate that. Okay, so we only have about another minute and a half left. Wrap this up for us, and whatever we didn't get to say about the library, go.
Okay. First of all, we do have a Facebook presence and a website. It's www.mbcpl.org. That's Martinsburg, Berkeley County Public Library.org.
Or you can just Google Martinsburg Library.
Absolutely.
And I'll post it.
And you'll post it.
Thank you. Thank you so
go. Please come out and look at your library. Come and visit us. We're more than just books. But I can tell you that our young readers of today are reimagining themselves by reading books. They physically like the book. So don't think...
Is that right? And,
yeah,
okay.
They are. Don't think for 1 minute that the library is not going to have books. We will always have books, but we are here to stay in our community.
My wife said to me last week, I was complaining that my Kindle wasn't working, and she said in so many words, I hope it never comes back on. I said, why is that, honey? She said, I think you need to start going back to the kind of books like I read where you turn pages.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, I have a stack of 5 books in my next to my bed now, just waiting to be read. So
well, you need to grab them.
I don't think I'm ever going back to the Kindle again.
So there you have it. Come to the libraries, any of our libraries. There's 4 of them in our community. You can't miss us. We're the most important place for you to visit.
Well, and there's so much room to grow. You're probably so many families out there whose kids haven't gone to the library, and wouldn't you just want to say, give us a try?
Give us a try.
Walk in there one time, give us one chance. If you're a mom or a dad and you have a 9-year-old, there's no better place for that child to be than experiencing the wonder of a library and so many of these programs as well. It's just as important to get them involved in reading, if not more,
absolutely,
than it is any kind of sport, baseball or basketball or whatever it might be.
It's a lifetime.
This is lifetime.
This is lifetime. And, don't think for a minute that we aren't interested in the digital part either. We do have some STEAM programming, coding for the kids, those types of things. We have a STEAM lab that was done in part through a grant from the United Way. So we really want to get everyone from all ages and all different types of media.
That's nice that the United Way gets involved in these programs as well, because that's that's an agency that kind of has to distribute its money out to so many areas. And having worked with United Way myself in the past, those are real competitive dollars. And if the library is getting some of that, that's really swell.
We were happy to partner with them. It was a great turnout.
Kelly Tangsley, so nice to have you. Always great, and appreciate the update on the library. And more than anything else, I just appreciate your enthusiasm for it, because this is something that you really, really believe in, and you are indeed the spokesperson for this great, and wonderful organization. Savannah, anything else from you?
I don't think so.
Do you have a library memory to share with us?
I used to walk to the library. I think I was in 7th grade. Me and my friend walked to the library every Thursday after school. We would read some books and stuff, and then my mom would come pick us up when she got off of work.
See? Great library story. Yeah.
We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back after that break with Pastors Bill Ball and Don Reedy. It all is about worship in the park next July 22nd. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Come in now for the summer clearance event at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Martinsburg, where you can get up to $11,250 in total savings on a 2018 Ram Bighorn. Pay just $229 a month with $3,499 down. How about a 2019 Jeep Cherokee for only $189 a month with $34.99 down and up to $4,000 cash back? Get $3,250 off a 2018 Dodge Challenger or Charger
with payments as low as $179 per month. Going green? Check out the 2018 Hybrid Pacifica with a $7,500 federal tax credit. These savings and more are available at the summer clearance event at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Kelly Island Road or online at millerschryslerjeep.com. Your Chrysler certified pre-owned dealer. All payments based on approved credit, taxes, tags, and processing fees extra. See dealer for details.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
L.A. Roberts is Berkeley County's oldest jeweler, where every season is new and exciting. In fact, new is old school to us, and though it's nothing new, our old traditions like exceptional service, quality, and value maintain L.A. Roberts Jewelers as the old master among so many new kids on the block. Whether you're a newcomer or part of the old guard, entrust all your fine jewelry needs to L.A. Roberts, Old World Jewelers for a new age, in historic downtown Martinsburg.
The 28th season of the Contemporary American Theater Festival returns to Shepherd University, July 6th through the 29th. A chance to see 6 bold new plays, including A Late Morning in America with Ronald Reagan. This world premiere from award-winning playwright Michael Weller takes us to a casual sit-down with the former president for recollections that only the First Lady might know. For a full schedule and more information, go to catf.org.
Chapter here of Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. Matt in for Rob today. Our sponsor for this final segment is the Washington Nationals, and aren't they on the hot seat for the next couple of days, as we were talking earlier, I'm not really sure. Oh, kids batting helmet. This is a good one. The Nationals and Harris Teeter are teaming up to present the kids batting helmet giveaway on Saturday, July 22nd. The first 10,000 kids ages 12 and under will get this cool Nationals batting helmet on their way to the Nats-Braves game at 1:35. For tickets, visit nationals.com. But there's something else happening between now and July 22nd at Nats Park. That would be tonight, Matt, with the Home Run Derby. I want everyone to watch tonight and root for my friend Rhys Hoskins, as I have talked about many times. You can root for Bryce Harper if you want as well, but I'm asking you a personal favor. Be rooting for my Rhys Hoskins, left fielder and first baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies, playing in his first complete year. Rhys is the son of my lifelong best friend, and I've known him since he was a baby, and would love indeed for him to do well. He did not make the All-Star team, Matt. He didn't quite have the numbers, and he was out on the DL for 10 days. That's pretty tough to make the All-Star team as a left fielder, though. There's quite a few good ones out there.
And on the DL for fouling a ball off his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the highlight of that.
It was, and that's why he wears that brace now on both sides of his cheek. But some of our listeners might remember that Rhys came into the majors last August and was the, let's see, in his first 30 days, I think my numbers are pretty well. He hit 18 home runs, making him the most prolific home run hitter in the history of baseball in his first month.
Right.
More than Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, count them all up. He hit more home runs in his first month than any one in history. So, nice to have Kelly Tanksley in, by the way. She's a trip, isn't she?
She is.
It's like, wind her up, and there she goes. But her enthusiasm for reading and for kids and to promote this great library system of hers is indeed heartwarming. I think we lost Siobhan. She was in for 2 segments. Siobhan, you did a really nice job. Did you have fun here at the table?
school?
Yeah, I had fun, but I got to catch up on my real job.
Okay. I got that. Was Mom listening today?
Of course.
All right. Hey, Mom. We love your daughter. How's that? That's all. Enough said on that. You're listening to Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. Of course, you can hear us on 740 AM, 106.5 FM, cable channel 10. We're streaming on Talk Radio WRNR, or you can download our app at WRNR Talk Radio. Savon Hunter, of course, our intern with us, and Sherry Dieter Davis is our producer. And as I said before, Matt is in for Rob. Split shift for you today because you will be back on your own program Miller time at 5 o'clock. Give us a preview as to what you'll be talking about Home Run Derby tonight.
Home Run Derby a little bit. We'll be talking about a disappointing road trip for the Washington Nationals to close out going into the All-Star break. 3 wins and 4 losses in 7 games against 2 sub-500 teams. If they're going to be a playoff team, they had to get those wins. So we've got those conversations and more.
Well, maybe our next 2 guests could pray for the Nationals when their big event comes up at Worship in the Park on July 22nd, because they need a lot of prayers, or they need a lot of something, because they're not really rising to the occasion so far this year. Pastors Bill Ball and Don Reedy, welcome to both of you. It's nice to have you.
Thank you, my friend.
Now, you need to pull those microphones up as close. They're very flexible. You can't break them. There you go. Now, I understand that we have a Judy Boykin connection here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because she's the one who I think recommended that the two of you come in and talk about the program. That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Dear friend of ours here at the station, she and Steve both. In fact, Steve was just in talking about the diving. He's a diver, and we were talking about the kids in Thailand and that rescue operation. Did you follow that? I mean, it was amazing. That took real prayer, I would imagine, for that thing.
Amen.
I mean, I've not seen a world so full of prayer in a very long time as it related to these 13 kids that were in that cave. Just amazing.
And unfortunately, we lost somebody during the rescue, but they gave their life for others.
Indeed.
And that's why we're here, because of somebody who gave their life for us.
Okay, talk to me. Well, is that a segue to something? Talk to us about Worship in the Park. What is it? How it all came together, and who should go?
Well, we'll talk first, I guess, throughout the summer. At War Memorial Park, there are Vesper services every evening at 7 o'clock. Every Sunday evening at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Where different churches in the Martinsburg area, they present a worship service at 7 o'clock for the community. July 22nd is the United Methodist Church's time. And so we decided to expand on the worship service and make it into a ministry fair. So from 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock, we've invited all the ministries that the United Methodist Churches in Berkeley County support to come and set up
all the ministries you support.
All the ministries. I mean, we're talking 23 churches in our county have invited all the ministries that they support, such as Habitat for Humanity, Horses for Hearts. Name some off there, Dawn.
Sure. Shenandoah Women's Shelter, Hispanic Ministries, Board of Child Care, Hospice, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts will both be there helping. Kids Power Pack. And you had already said horses with...
Yeah, so this is just a sampling of the ministries in our community that we support. And we just want to show everybody in the Martinsburg and Berkeley County area that, we are involved in the life of this community.
That is a great idea, because I don't think the average person actually really thinks about whether it be the Lutherans or the Methodists or the Catholics or whatever. I mean, being involved in so many different activities.
One of the things as a pastor that I love is that all the people that I interact with at my church, and then when I go out into the community and I interact with different ministries, there are always people from my church or from other Methodist churches in our community volunteering there. I think that's one of the things I love about the Methodist Church and the people who worship at the Methodist Church. Volunteering and supporting our community in ministry is one of the primary things that we do. We reach out, we try to help those people in need.
Do you each have a Methodist parish that you're assigned to, Don?
Right. Mine, I'm kind of unique. I'm the pastor now of my home church. I've been there 26 years, but I've been pastoring now the last 3. And it's kind of...
so you were a member of the church, and then you went to seminary and then came back to
I'm
your
in
home?
seminary right now.
Okay.
And but through the United Methodist Conference, they have a thing called licensed local pastor.
Awesome.
And so that's what I am.
Okay. So you're there full-time now then?
Well, I'm considered half-time because it's a smaller church.
Okay, and where is the church located?
It's Bunker Hill West Virginia. We're almost in Virginia. We're at the state line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bill, how about you?
And I'm at Pikeside United Methodist Church, right on the corner of Winchester Avenue and Painesford Road. And been there for almost 140 years. Not me personally.
Okay, you don't look a day over 139.
Yeah.
It's a really good, vibrant church. We're growing, and
isn't that nice?
We're serving our community.
You read all of the time. There's articles seemingly, consistently about how mainline churches, Protestant and Catholic churches, are they're not doing as well.
Right.
Fewer people are coming to them. I was in Minneapolis over the weekend, and there was a Sunday newspaper feature article on several of the Lutheran churches have decided, that's the big religion in Minnesota, have decided to close because the attendance is so down. I know that I belong to a parish in Shepherdstown that is growing and is, exciting and it's robust and all of that. But is that true? Are churches dwindling in our area? Are churches dwindling in attendance? Because it's nice to hear that yours isn't.
This is going to be Bill's personal opinion, but I think for churches who don't want to adapt and reach people on their level, who just want to provide worship the way they've always done it and not think of new ways to go out and meet people as society changes, those are the ones who are declining.
So give me an example on how you go out and meet people where they are. What would be a good example?
Praise in the park.
There you go.
We're going to go out. We're going to meet people in the streets. We're going to talk with them. We're going to offer them prayer. We're going to provide services. We're going to feed the homeless. We're going to, have ministries like that where we go out and meet people in need, and we actually go outside the church walls. It's the mindset that everybody has to come into our doors for us to serve them. That's why churches decline. But when you remember that the church is actually outside, and you send your people out to serve, that's where the growth is, and that's where people want to go. So those type churches that serve and go out into the community and serve, and I think almost every United Methodist church in Berkeley County is that way. We want to get out and we want to serve. We want to feed the homeless. We want to help those people who are in abused shelters or who are homeless, and that's what we want to do.
Matt, you're very involved in your church. What makes a good, robust congregation?
And I think a lot of what Pastor Bill just mentioned there, the aspect of the church is the body of believers, not
Amen.
a building that you come to meet at. And so, getting out in the community and understanding, your impact is around the people that you're around. And God has you in a particular place because you reach people that other people within that congregation don't reach. And so it's a way to be able to reach out into a whole community. Somebody likes sports, somebody likes arts, somebody likes movies, somebody likes gardening, whatever those likes and interests in those things are, we all have a way to reach and impact different people.
Part of that key is young people. How do the mainline churches reach young people these days?
Well, I know for Pikeside, we'll ask Dawn what Painesford does here in a second, but for Pikeside, we have 5 scouting troops. We have 3 Girl Scout troops, and we have 2 Boy Scout troops, a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout troop. So not only do we interact with all the kids, there must be like 60, 70 kids in there on a Tuesday night.
Whether they're not all of them members of your church, of course, but the fact that you're sponsoring them.
We're sponsoring those troops. We bring them in, and then I try to make it a mission of mine to go out and meet every parent as they drop them off and all the kids, to interact with them so that they understand what the church is and that we're here for them. Besides that, we have our youth groups and we have our Sunday schools and word of mouth from those kids. Hey, guess what I did on church on Sunday? So try to make it exciting for them and give them something to go talk to their friends about. So that's how you keep the kids involved and you grow the church that way.
Mine's a little more one-on-one since we are a smaller family church. We have 4 to 5 kids in college, and I'll be taking them all out to lunch, and we send them care packages while they're in college. So it's a little more one-on-one. We are growing. It's growing probably at a lesser rate, but we're still what I would consider a vibrant church.
Amen.
In regards to the Praise in the Park, to me that's also one way to reach the unchurched, because we looked at it and we said, well, how do you reach people? It's usually food and music. So we're giving free hot dogs and we're having free music in the park with from that 5 to 7 o'clock time.
We're visiting with Dawn Reedy. She is the pastor of Paynes Chapel United Methodist Church, and with Bill Ball, the pastor of Pikeside United Methodist Church. Also, I see on your card that you are the chaplain at the Jefferson Medical Center. So thank you for your, I guess, work outside of the church. There's yet another
Yes,
way
sir.
in which you serve. We're talking about an event called Worship in the Park. And Don, you bring up something that is kind of, I think, part of all of this too, which is the fun part, the music part. Let's stay with that thought, and we'll come right back to that after the break. Stay with us here on Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave.
Life is complicated, but your finances shouldn't have to be. At BCT, we simplify your financial life. Bank of Charlestown is a locally owned community bank with 7 conveniently located offices serving the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, Middleburg, Virginia, and their newest office in Hagerstown, Maryland. With over 140 years of experience, BCT is the tri-state area's choice for fast, convenient, and hassle-free banking solutions. Whether you are a high school senior looking for a student checking account, a college graduate purchasing a new car, a first-time home buyer, or investing for retirement, BCT has flexible solutions to fit your lifestyle. BCT is committed to providing everyday ways to simplify your financial life. Also, make sure you are following BCT on Twitter and Instagram at MyBCT or like their Facebook page to see how BCT reinvests local deposits back into the communities they serve. BCT, we simplify your financial life.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What words come to mind when you think of Honda? Reliable should be one. Fun, that's a good one. But there is one word that sums up every Honda. Quality. Because Honda was KBB.com's 2018 Best Overall Brand. So whether you choose the sizzling Civic, acclaimed Accord, or sporty CRV, you know you're getting quality that's unmatched.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 Brand Image Awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
Do you hear that? Nothing beats the sound of summer unless it's finding a way to make cleaning your pool easier. Now you can with Pool Life. Our complete line of premium pool care products is the easiest solution under the sun for crystal clear, clean pool fun. Get the most brilliant clean ever seen all summer long with Pool Life. Only at fine pool dealers like John's Pool Supplies, close to Gold's Gym on Eagle School Road in Martinsburg. Ask about quality PDC hot tubs. Phone 267-2000 or go online at johnspoolsupplies.com.
Welcome back to the program. Our final few minutes, we're visiting with pastors Bill Ball and Dawn Reedy, United Methodist pastors, and they are, I guess, in the leadership position of an event called Worship in the Park on July the 22nd. That will be at War Memorial Park. Don, how can people find out more information about that?
It is on our website for the
WWW.BC.WV, Berkeley County, West Virginia, UMC for United Methodist Church. So BC.
WVUMC.org, and we'll put that, Savannah will make sure that that also gets onto our website here on Talk Radio WRNR as well. So,
and it's also been in the Journal.
Okay.
Yeah, multiple times.
I'm pretty sure you could probably go to any one of our church's websites and find information
Absolutely.
about
that too,
so.
right.
If you could probably Google Good Time Methodist
There you go.
War Memorial Park, right? You were talking about the music and the fun part of it as well, and so we know that there will be different agencies and organizations that the Methodist Church in our area supports will be there.
Right.
But how about the fun part?
Well, we have 3 music groups coming.
Mm-hmm.
One is from St. Luke's United Methodist. It's their praise band. The other one is...
we have the Rich Miller Band coming.
Thank you.
Yep.
The Rich Miller Band. And the other one is a group that I'm a part of. It's Sweet Adelines.
Oh, tell us more about that. What is Sweet Adelines? I love the name.
It's
Sweet Adel. Okay.
It's, well, you're in the right idea.
Yeah.
It's barbershop.
Okay.
It's ladies barbershop.
Ladies barbershop.
Lady
Is
barbershop.
it a quartet?
Yep.
That is so awesome.
Not a quartet. We're actually a chorus. Now we
Okay.
will have a quartet there as well.
Okay.
But so they're
How long have the Sweet Adelines been together?
a long time.
Really?
Yeah. I think it. I don't want to. I'll get in trouble if I say the wrong date.
A long time, though. Okay, a long time. So how many people are in the group?
There's about 25 of us.
No kidding.
Yeah, no, and I think at this event there'll probably be about 18 to 20 of us coming.
What a fun community that must be to be a part of.
It is.
You have to be able to sing too.
No.
No, you don't?
No.
I love groups like that.
You have to be willing to learn.
Okay.
That's probably the
All
biggest
right.
thing. Because they are very big on education and learning to sing the right notes and all that kind of stuff. But you don't have to come knowing how to sing.
Do you know what we do with the high school groups that come in here that are choral groups? We make them sing on the air.
Oh no.
So, I'm
gonna watch
this. Oh no.
I'm just letting you know that's what we do to the kids. Savant, should the adults have different rules than the kids?
I got forced so many times.
She was in the Martinsburg choir. We made her sing all the time.
I think one of the blessings that's going to happen next Sunday is that the resident bishop of the Baltimore Washington Conference is going to be joining us at the event as well.
Okay.
So she's going to be driving over from Fulton, Maryland.
Always cool when the bishop shows up.
Yeah.
And
Except
we also
when you're Catholic, you get afraid. But go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is actually going to be a blessing.
Okay.
And also our brothers and sisters down in Charlestown at Oakland United Methodist Church, she is going to be having a praise service at 2 o'clock there, and then come up and join us at 5 o'clock. So she's going to be in the Eastern Panhandle checking in on all the Methodist churches and sharing some love with us. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have lots of activities for the kids. We're going to have face painting and games and little prizes for them. So, I mean, it's not just going to be information tables. There's going to be something there for kids of all ages to enjoy. And
it should be said, too, you don't have to be a Methodist to show up.
No, we want everybody.
Obviously, I just want to make sure that people know that.
Right.
If you're not a Methodist, they're very friendly people, everyone. I want you to know that.
We'll greet you with a smile
And
on our
come
face.
for a free hot dog.
Oh,
We're giving out
there you
free
go.
Hot dogs and chips
water
and drinks. And
See, Matt wasn't going to go until you just mentioned free hot dogs. Now the whole Miller clan is going to show up now.
Now his church is grilling them, so you got to hold them responsible.
We're going to have a nice barbecue grill out there. We're going to be making some nice hot dogs for everybody.
Very nice. Well, that's a great event. It's called Worship in the Park, and it starts at what time on Saturday?
Sunday,
July
22nd at 5 p.m. So 5 to 7 is the ministry fair, and then at 7 o'clock we will be having our Vesper service, and that 20 to 30 minute worship service just to close out the day in prayer, and we're going to have a wonderful message. We're going to be talking about living water. So I get to
living water.
I get to share the message that day.
Okay, give me a little brief glimpse into what living water would be.
Jesus got to talk to that young lady at the well, and he reminded her about living water, and that as long as you believe in him, you'll never go thirsty.
And that's one of the great biblical stories too of God's love for everyone, regardless of where we come from and where we've been and who we are and all of that. And that's a message that maybe the entire world needs to hear a little bit more.
Amen.
Especially those members of Congress about 75 miles away from here. Don Reedy and Bill Ball, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for
It was
this
a real
opportunity,
pleasure,
friends.
and I hope to have you back again.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Matt, that will wrap things up here on Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave, and Matt in for Rob, and you'll be here all week long at 6 o'clock in the morning for Rob's earlier stint, and then doing the show as well.
Yes.
Promise?
And tomorrow,
You'll promise?
you won't be here.
I won't be here.
So Joe Ferretti will be in. So it'll be the B team extraordinaire.
I would hardly call you and Joe Ferretti the B team. I will be heading to Philadelphia right after the show today for a mandatory thing I've just got to do in my other business, and I'll be attending the World Congress on Industrial Biotechnology in Philadelphia.
Sounds like fun.
Doesn't that sound? That'd get you up in the morning, huh? You've been listening to Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave. So nice to have you with us on this Monday morning. We hope you'll stay with us for the rest of the week. Glenn Beck is next.
Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by TheraWorks Relief.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. After more than 2 hours, one-on-one with Vladimir Putin, President Trump declares it a
very good start for everybody.
Two leaders have now been joined by top aides at a working lunch in Helsinki. Correspondent Stephen Portnoy says they shook hands at the start of the day.
Vladimir Putin spoke first, telling Mr. Trump it's time to discuss strained U.S.-Russian relations and the other difficult issues facing the world.
I really think the world wants to see us get along.
The president, who has stressed the importance of meetings such as this, said he expects the two will develop an extraordinary relationship.
We have not been getting along very well for the last number of years.
In an earlier tweet, he blamed many years of U.S. foolishness and stupidity, and now the rigged witch hunt. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Helsinki.
Many lawmakers back home in Washington want the president to pressure Putin to hand over 12 Russian intelligence officers indicted in the Russia meddling investigation. CBS's Nora O'Donnell is also in Helsinki.
Will President Trump deliver a strong rebuke to the Russian leader to cut it out, not only for what the Russians did in the past presidential election, but what, according to the Director of National Intelligence, the Russians are doing right now?
More people are spending these days. The Commerce Department reports retail sales were up 0.5% in June. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Sales at health and personal care stores up, restaurants posting gains, internet sales jumping, and auto dealers reported an increase.
Overall sales were more than 6.5% higher than in June of 2017. Are you ready, Prime shoppers? Amazon's Big Prime Day gets underway this afternoon. CNET editor Dan Ackerman with what's on sale.
I've seen some early stuff teased, like even things like dishwashers and washing machines, a lot of electronic stuff, obviously, but things like, paper towels, too.
Prime Day will go on for 36 hours this year. Stores like Bed Bath & Beyond and Lowe's say they'll match sale prices. Good news on those 12 boys rescued from a flooded cave in Thailand last week. CBS's Anna Werner has the details from Chiang Rai.
Health officials say the boys are in good shape now. Some of them who had lost as much as 11 pounds appear to be gaining that weight back. And they're in such good shape that officials say they expect to release them from the hospital on Wednesday so they can finally go home and be with their families.
The Canadian department store chain Hudson's Bay has dropped Ivanka Trump's clothing line from its stores and from online offerings. It says has nothing to do with politics. They're just not selling well. Dow up 12 points. This is CBS News.
To experience relief from foot and leg cramps, use TheraWorks Relief. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at your local pharmacy. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter posts your job to over